Hello everybody, it is Friday night and it's round table night, and today I am flying solo, I'm flying solo, I'm flying solo, I'm flying solo. Yep, it's just me today. Haverock and Sophie aren't feeling too good today, so you will just have me tonight. So you are just one-on-one with Masako, and this is the What If Roundtable. Now, for those of you who don't Red Dragon, it's okay, don't worry about it. Yeah, I am with you guys, and I'm going to try and see if I can rattle through these as best as I can. And they'll be alright. I think Haverock has not really been sleeping well. They've got construction work nearby, and it was just like, oh, okay. So, definitely something that he needs a bit of time to recuperate. And Sophie's just feeling a bit under the weather. Again, they'll be fine. It's just, I think they need a night off. So, for those of you who don't know, the What If Roundtable is basically where we just talk about what ifs, and I provide, or my friends and I would provide, loads of different solutions based on what we know. And yes, I'm not au fait, so if we do have Elder Scrolls scenarios, I don't know, so just so you know. And you do it through Super Chats, which means I get a list of them as I can see, and it does really help support the channel in terms of, you know, this troubled time when CPMs are at an all-time low. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's Up on the Lookout episode where we had Courtney on as a guest. That was a lot of fun to record for. And tomorrow is What If Frieza Turned Good Part 8. So look forward to that. Okay, I'm staying hydrated. I hope you guys are. But let's kick things off with Papa Podo. Time for a bunch of Frieza What Ifs since it's Frieza Week. Which it is, absolutely. And Zek Animations, before you say, I haven't had a chance to look at it, but I do have it bookmarked. I'm going to spend some time tonight having a look at it. First off, what if Frieza's race aged at the same rate as humans? Well, if they did age at the same rate as humans, it's kind of hard to say because it's very unsure how long and how old King Cold is. Basically, it's our belief that he's lived for a couple of centuries. So basically, I would say if they lived at a similar rate, then you probably would have Frieza on his own or with other mentors. And, you know, sometimes if you have elders looking after a younger kid, it doesn't necessarily go so well. So I think there would have been a lot of in-fighting politics in the Frieza Force, you know, with Kikono and Berry Blue. But really, at this point in Dragon Ball, it doesn't really impact it so much. But yeah, there's definitely that extra peril. But it's just uncertainty about how the Frieza clan ages. Manifesto, no what if, just want to say that I loved that Bravo Blavo cap you did for chapter 61. Maybe that should be a GIF or running gag on the channel. Oh yeah. So I should really look into that. I'll see if I can make that a GIF and upload it somewhere. But yeah, no, episode 61, there were lots of good stuff like, yeah, absolutely. But no, I'll look into that manifesto. But again, what if Frieza had a mother who was in the story too? That just makes me think of like, it makes me think that of like, Krillin's going, is anyone imagining Frieza but with boobs? No! Never! He must never know. But, if Frieza had a mother, basically, it would probably like be the Berry Blue character. So instead of having Berry Blue, it'd be doing what Berry Blue does. So, simply something like that. So, it would certainly be something that you would look into. Definitely something interesting, though, having that connection, because as far as I'm concerned, Berry Blue is the nanny figure, a mother figure to Frieza. So if you just took the next step and made them a mother, then there you go. I feel like you could have much more interesting narrative scope if you had Berry Blue as the actual mother. Paparacha, what if Frieza was a Karen instead of a land shark? And to go with that, what if Frieza was an actual shark? Well, what if Frieza was an actual shark? It would certainly make much more sense. It would be a little bit more on-the-nose gag. And hey, I remember the days of Sharky and George. Having a shark character would be awesome. And any chance to like do like a Jabba Jaw thing? What I did with Kisame from Naruto Bridge. You know, basically just doing that thing. Like, I was happy with doing that for Kisame. I'm so sad I didn't get to do more of that. But if more of a Karen, then basically with Goku, I demand to speak to your manager. What, you mean you want to talk to King Kai? Well, there you go. I'm not taking any of your thing, you Frieza Karen. You just think I am the manager. Or no, better yet, Goku just goes, I am the manager. What? Just like their way in that insubordination. And if Frieza was an actual shark, then you're gonna need a bigger ship. I'm just gonna say that. Manifesto again. What if Frieza's race were once benevolent, peaceful, and powerful so many years ago until events caused them to go bad, and only be just Cole and Frieza left? Oh, absolutely. There is that definite possibility that it could happen, because Haverock and I were doing a very interesting discussion, and one of our theories is that the Tuffles may have actually been trying to play God with the Saiyans. Like, the Saiyans may not have been as aggressive. They may have been like Universe 6 Saiyans, and then through the Tuffles wanting to, genetically tweak them, they created monsters that ran amok. So the Tuffles kind of yeeted themselves. So I could imagine that happening, and maybe the Arcosians created the Frieza clan and it just went horribly wrong. It would actually be really interesting, and Dragon Ball has its fair share of mad scientist characters, so it's not exactly far-fetched. And Nerd King, thank you very much for your donation. Stardust, happy birthday again to Ranch. I gave the plush a Dragonite. Aw, that's cute. And my question is, seeing how close they are, what if Gohan and Ranch performed one of the fusion methods and went against a fusion of Charizard and Dragonite? Well, they would have to be certainly on fire because dragons, and I would probably have them having a dragon technique, like just say, oh, they come up with some kind of like dragon Zenkai power, something like that. But if you had like Rohan, and that'd be everyone going, holy moly, is that a JoJo reference? Yes, it is. It's Rohan. There you go. So definitely that would be very cutesy. But Gohan and Ranch stuff, I need to do more of that kind of interaction. It's cute. It's definitely cute. Paparacha, what if Vegeta didn't exist? Well, if Vegeta didn't exist, then you really wouldn't have that dynamic between Goku and Vegeta. I mean, you'd have to have Raditz in there somehow to make up for that, because if you had Nappa, they'd be done. Like, you'd need to have a replacement. So you'd need to have like just a random Mook take over Raditz's place, and then Vegeta and Goku and Raditz being the final fight of the Saiyan Saga. That could actually be really cool, brother or brother, and having Raditz in there, having turned good. There you go. It's another path to Raditz turn good. There you are. Paparacha, what if Krillin was Yamcha'd instead of Chaozu? Oh, well, if that happened, then who's there for Krillin to die? Because I don't think Goku's gonna go Super Saiyan with Chaozu died. No offense to any Chaozu fans out there, but the bond between himself and Krillin. I mean, maybe if Goku was there to see it happen, then he might have gone Super Saiyan early, but it's hard to say. But I don't think he would get that angry if it were Chaozu on Namek dying. I'm just saying that. And Manifesto. Cell looks at Frieza's attention over him in the DB community in Toei. What happened? Am I nothing but a joke to all of you? Well, it is kind of true, really, because like with Cell, I love Cell. Cell is really cool. I love the guy. But I also feel like he's just very... I think there's just not a lot more that you can do with him, because like he's kind of reached the end of his arc. He can't really improve too much. And also he's really hard to draw. So Toriyama's gone on record saying that many times, and that's why he didn't bring Cell back that much, because having all this, spots telling to draw. But hey, I would love for Cell to be in Dragon Ball much more. I'd love that to happen, definitely. Michael Turman, what if they focus more on the episodes like with Bulma and the Crab? Oh, like some filler stuff, like giving Bulma something to do? Like, seriously, you could have had her have an adventure where she'd actually end up at Guru's Tower on her own accord. Like, give her something to do. She could have had a potential unlocked, and she could have become extra smart to try and find a way to bring them back, get to leave Earth, Namek or something like that, or be able to come up with a solution. That could have definitely been a really nice little arc for her. And also, that crab wouldn't have necessarily been eaten by Frieza. Papa Pode? What if Frieza acted more like a mafia boss, Godfather character instead of a royal snooty emperor? Let's say, well, Goku, I've got an offer that you cannot refuse. I'd say he'd be willing to bargain more, and he'd be a little more... Basically, you get Cooler. Cooler is definitely the idea of a mafia boss who, rewards the loyal, but also punishes the enemies and anyone who dares get in his way. So, but is willing to hear people out. So, definitely, I'd say with Frieza, you just get someone more like Cooler, really. You just get something more like that. But it would certainly be a bit more interesting than just the Royal Snooty Emperor. But then again, it is Frieza, and yeah, he has left his mark on the fandom quite accomplishedly. Michael Turman, again. What if Guinea went legendary Super Mama on Broly? Oh, absolutely. I can imagine it. Mama's about to give you a spanking! Like, you know, just like, and Broly just... You know that moment where, like, he's about to be teleported in the Broly movie, where his eyes come back and he's just like, against Gogeta. That is enough to scare any wrathful form out of, like, a thing. And, like, you just get this big bulking Broly from the original one. You just go, sorry, mother of Kakarot. I'm sorry. Go to your room. I don't have a room. Then find a room. Yes, Kakarot's mother. Just having this moment of, like, you know, Guinea not necessarily being the strongest, but why would you ever disrespect Guinea? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Okay, Manifesto. More of Good Boy Frost in the future, part 2. Oh, definitely. This was actually a Hadrock script that I helped kind of flesh out a little more. And I love it, because it gives Kaba something to do, and it's not him beholden to Vegeta. And it gives Frost actually something. It was just like missed opportunity, you know? I mean, I can imagine you guys were really disappointed when Frost actually turned out to be mean. And you think, oh, come on, that's like a missed opportunity. It would have been so much fun seeing in the Tournament of Power, Frost and Frieza actually fighting good versus evil. That would have been much more interesting. But who's to say that you won't get that in our What If? Let's just say that. Red Dragon Force 2. What if Dr. Briefs wanted to study Goku when they met? I would imagine he'd be much more humane than Jiro would be in that similar situation. So I feel like Dr. Briefs would definitely ply him with food, probably give him a nice place to live, and I would say he'd probably actually have a good time because he gets to be with Bulma, his new friend. It would be much more wholesome. Let's just say that. And I feel like eventually they would probably understand. And it might come actually more to the conclusion that Dr. Briefs would find out that Goku's DNA is not human. So they would know that he was an alien, but they wouldn't know what he was exactly. So that would be that mystery. But then you would... So in a way, in Dragon Ball Z, it would make that revelation a bit less spectacular, so you'd say. Papa Podo. What if Frieza was crushing on Queen Cassava? Well, the thing is, though, I don't think Frieza would actually... Frieza you could describe as asexual. Well, except in Dragon Ball Super Broly, he gets a major hard-on for Broly in that one because, you know, he's incredibly strong. But in the traditional sense, I don't think he's really that attuned. But I would imagine probably he'd be very impressed with, like, I do not understand how you were able to put up with the brute known as King Vegeta. As in, like, somewhat respect in her being able to be so patient. Maybe like that. Paparazzi. What if Raditz nixed Piccolo before going to Kame House? Well, if he did do that, then I would have to play the sound, but I will elaborate. Well, if he was basically wiped out before they could actually get to Goku, basically they would have sensed it happening, but no one would have been there to actually help Goku. So I think ultimately Goku would have no choice but to go to try and save his son, really. So it would just be like Goku would have to go with Raditz in order to spare the planet, you know, especially when finding out he's a Saiyan. Because if you don't have the special beam cannon, even with Gohan getting angry and stuff, it would certainly not be enough to actually stop Raditz entirely. Okay. Red Dragon Force 2. What if Goku fell into the drowned girl spring prior to meeting Bulma? And, well, if that's the drowned girl spring, that's basically you get what if Goku was female. What if Gohan fell into the drowned girl spring when trying to get home from Piccolo's training? Well, you just get female. They just become like that, really. And like, as I say, with a lot of these kind of like thing, oh, what if a different gender? For the most part, they would actually not change all that much because a good character is like, they are that character, they just so happen to be that gender. So, really not much would change, especially if they've had that archetype already established. It would be slightly different if they were a different gender from the start, but if it suddenly changed. But Oh, yeah. Like, Red Dragon Force, of course Red Dragon. Yeah, you could have absolute shenanigans, because Ranma is essentially a bunch of shenanigans. So, you know, or if it was Zamasu, a bunch of shenanigans. Zamasu's up to a lot of shenanigans. Yeah, I'll see myself out with that one. Barbaracha. What if Frieza's plan for revenge on Goku was to steal Chi-Chi's heart? Figuratively, he's plan A, literally plan B. Well, plan B, yeah, that's a dead Freezy boy. That's a dead Freezy pop. But if it were figuratively, then I imagine, because Frieza can be very charismatic. Basically, if he introduced himself to Chi-Chi as someone totally different, and not an evil, self-obsessed and ugly tyrant, then I can imagine he would definitely woo Chi-Chi in some way. Like, being respectful, and being very listening, talking, all that stuff. That's what Chi-Chi wants. Someone who talks and listens. And I think Frieza would be very much like that. He could definitely pull it off. Okay. Let's just take a look at the list. Smash Brono 1. What if the Z-Sword was indestructible, and Gohan achieved ultimate form through continued use of the sword? Maybe Elder Kai speaks through the sword or something. Oh man! Oh, that'd be cool. Basically, you'd have a talking sword. Like, you get, if Trunks found out about that, say, oh man, I wish my sword would talk. My sword's really boring. It doesn't talk to me at all. And like, but it's really cool, Gohan, but I wish my sword were sentient. Like, you get a jealous future Trunks right there. But I would say, really, if it was, then, you know, Gohan would have to learn how to use a sword. So it would be basically Gohan and the Black Knight. And you would just have that valiant stuff like that. And Red Dragon says, Trunks' sword, I talk all the time, but you never listen to me. Well, come on, I am actually the guy who knows the sword, but I'm always, like, using it and stuff. How can I listen if you're not... What, you can actually talk? That's what I've been trying to tell you. Oh, cool. Never mind. But, yeah, it could be a nice little dimension to it. I mean, the Elder Kai. But basically, it would try and make the Elder Kai say, good, now, just put me down on the ground right where those girls are. I'll be right here to protect you when I'm done. Like, it would be a bit of a lechy sword. Let's just say that. Manifesto. How different and or powerful is Bronze Cell? In terms of Bronze Cell, it is sort of up there with Golden Frieza, but not necessarily like true Golden Frieza. So basically you'd have Resurrection F Golden Frieza power, but not as true Golden Frieza. So still a couple of steps behind Frieza in that sense, but he'd still certainly be much more powerful than he was. Great Twitcher, what if Jiro never turned evil? Well, if he never turned evil and he never had that resentment towards Goku, he'd be just being more of like a madcap scientist, but I can imagine him working at Capsule Corp. Not necessarily being like the top tier scientist, but he would certainly be one of the higher ups. Certainly like that. Smash Brona, happy birthday to Ranch. What does everyone get her for her birthday? Well, clothes, because, you know, those geese do definitely get damaged. She would certainly get toy cars, like model cars, because she loves her cars and monster trucks. Manga, maybe? Like some manga, like some Pink and Sandland from Toriyama. Yeah. Oh, bows. Different coloured bows. You can never have, like, ribbons for bows, definitely. And headphones. Yes, Miss Bowser. Absolutely. Manifesto. What if someone wanted to do commissions of adult Ranch as Super Saiyan Blue, even though that's not actually in the What If story? You could do that if you wanted. Like, come on. We need more images of Brick Ranch. Like, Ranch is a total brick. Like, this is the thing. I absolutely adore the idea that, you know, people love Ranch in that way. And actually put posters of her up with all of these other male Dragon Ball characters is actually an absolute honor. It touches my heart so much. But no, I mean, if you wanted to do Super Saiyan Blue Ranch, you could. Papa Podo, what if Frieza was written more as masculine instead of androgynous? What difference would that make? Well, you sort of get that idea, actually, when he starts to actually become more brutish and brawling in the Goku Frieza fight. You definitely get that style much more so. So, you just have that right from the beginning. Like, he would certainly be much more shouty. He would certainly be less likely to listen. and just more aggressive. Just more obviously aggressive, because he's aggressive already, but it's a bit more nuanced. But he would certainly not be nearly as sinister and, like, creepy. It would just be a bit more, like, in your face. Paparazzo, what if Ranch was Apan? Apan? Like, I don't know what you mean. Is that Apan from somewhere else? Can you, like, elaborate, Paparazzo? I'm not quite sure, but we'll come back to that. Oh, Red Dragon Force. Oh, Nappa reincarnated. Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. Of course, the tradition backwards. Gotcha. Well then, Ranch would definitely have, in that sense, Apan have a modeling career. Somehow, like, shave her head a lot. And basically have the best day ever a lot of the time. And be a fan of gardening. Okay. And the Batosai. So, oh, okay. This next one. What if Graham McTavish was cast as Morrow? Oh, from, like, Castlevania. Oh, and Dwalin from The Hobbit. Oh, and Zoran. Can you imagine? That would be fantastic. Guys, I'm going to talk to Chris, and I'm going to talk to Chris Sabat if I can, somehow, some way, and I'm going to say, look, you need to give Morrow a Scottish accent, because that will be sinister. Absolutely sinister. We need to bombard the Dragon Ball dub when it comes out, or if it comes out with Morrow, it needs to have a Scottish accent. But Graham McTavish, dude, that'd be awesome. Manifesto, happy birthday to our girl Ranch. She's cool, right? She's totally cool. Like, I love that girl so much. She's basically, I'm so pleased that she is a thing and people love her so much. It's really cool. But having said that, I really want to do more stuff with Adult Ranch, just to kind of have that different dynamic. But for now, I think, this is actually something that could be quite interesting. Red Dragon Force 2, best wishes to a best OC of What If Free. That's Ranch. Well, birthday wishes, absolutely. And if you haven't had a chance to listen to our birthday special, you could definitely do that. Oh, Garcia, don't worry about it, dude. Okay, let's create Twitchell. Are you so turned off by a 90s image that you won't do a What If Goku's sister What If, or are you waiting for all the main What Ifs to finish first? It's actually that latter one, Craig. I kind of want some of the older What Ifs to finish, and maybe we could do that as a one-off. Like, we could definitely explore it in, like, at least a lightning round, but I need to finish off some of the other What Ifs first, because we got like 20 on the go, so we need to kind of finish some of those up. But we can come back to that. We don't want to get rid of them all in one go. And it doesn't turn me off. That doesn't turn me off. It's just like, I remember that image. That's the thing. I remember it. I'm like, yeah. It's a bit of nostalgia in a way, Craig, so I'm not put off by it. Definitely not. Okay, Lord of Bamps. What if Zeno went through puberty? Well, certainly a bit more impulsive, even more erratic, and definitely be going through a goth phase. Definitely going through a phase like with Jiro and trucker hats. So, be a bit more unpredictable, but maybe a bit less chaotic. And yeah, Miss Bowser, you could definitely write it more. You could almost like have a Koinma thing. Like a Koinma Genkai situation with the Grand Priest. Something, anything you could like get inspired from Yu Yu Hakusho. Okay. The Batosai. What if we could get that sick beat that's at the beginning of Up on the Lookout? Oh yeah, if you look for Fox Morrow Glitterati, that's the name of the song. Just search for Fox Morrow Glitterati, and then you got it. Hey, Chancellor. Yeah, happy birthday to Ranch. It's her birthday today. Papa Meta, I would have thought that popped up when I was working. What if Zamasu was really just super yandere for Goku after we met him, and what do you think of S-Cells? S-Cells is a bit of a weird thing, and I know you guys really don't like me talking about that, because any video that I've done that has S-Cells in it, it bombs. It absolutely bombs, because people don't like it, and they just see it for what it is. Toriyama doing like a half-assed version of midichlorians. I mean, I kind of think just the genetics thing is just the video that we did that Philly helped me on with genetics, the Saiyan genetics video. I love that video. Philly came up with a really strong idea with it. Absolutely. I just feels it makes more sense, that one. And Zamasu really super yandere? Like, seriously, yeah, that could be interesting, because Zamasu would not really know how to process emotions and stuff. So, I feel like it could be interesting. Like, he doesn't know how to process emotions, so you kind of, like, go from there, and it's just all a bunch of misunderstandings. Okay. Benjamin Turner, what if Goku defeated Beerus in the Battle of Gods? Well, I feel like if he did, Beerus wouldn't destroy the planet, for a start. He would lick his wounds. He would know how to process it. I don't think he would rely to cheap shots, because he would have actually gotten his wish and predicted, but I feel like he wouldn't necessarily help them, because it'd be like, you're already stronger than me, why would I help you? So, actually, I'd actually play the sound. Because if he didn't have that, because if he beat Beerus, then somehow, through Super Saiyan God, he wouldn't have gotten the training, so necessarily, yeah, he wouldn't have necessarily won against Golden Frieza, or it'd have been a much more challenging thing, but hey, regular Super Saiyan God versus Golden Frieza, that would have been much more of a challenge, certainly. Chrome Bison. What if the Saiyan Tuffle War was started when the Tuffles tried to integrate Saiyans into their society? Boom, Chrome. Absolutely. You're right on the money. Like, in a couple of weeks' time, we're going to be doing a bunch of videos on the Tuffles, and that's pretty much one of our theories. So, really, you're pretty much on that. So, it's basically, our theory is that the Tuffles were basically trying to play God with the Saiyans, and they brought, that mysterious spacecraft was a Tuffle ship, and basically brought the Saiyans over, and tried to meddle with them to make them into super soldiers. It fails. It backfires massively. So, that's definitely Chrome. You are right on the money, sir. Okay. Okay. Now, I need to actually have a look at the definition of this. Oh. Gobi, what if Gohan developed philophobia? Basically, that's the fear of love and attachment. Then I imagine that whole relationship with Gohan and Videl, it would become a little bit more nuanced, and Videl would actually have to teach Gohan how to love. And actually, it would mean that relationship, even if it was like family related, it would certainly mean that certainly detached. And I don't think Goku would actually be able to know how to process it. But in a way, it could actually be really good for them, because Goku wouldn't understand the traditional sense of a family on an Earth sense. So it could work out that the relationship between Goku and Gohan might be slightly different. It's hard to say, but certainly intriguing. It would certainly add a new facet to Gohan. Owen, hey Masako, just saying thanks for helping the project blow up. Also, what if the Saiyans were lizards? They would have a human form and maybe more advanced. Oh, dude, Owen, you're welcome. And if they were lizards, you basically, you know, I think it would really increase the sense of scale. You know, honestly, if they were lizards, Frieza would be history. No, anyway, they would, seriously, they could survive a lot of cold. They'd be cold-blooded. You'd basically have a lot more kind of like tail action and stuff. So I feel like they would definitely do like all this different powers, and maybe like a certain type of rudimentary regeneration, like if it was a salamander. But yeah, something like that. Manifesto, does or did Ranch ever hear remakes from other girls in crowds about her appearance? Being referred to as a brute or non-feminine at all growing up? What if that happened, and how would she react? Well, how she would react, she probably wouldn't care. Because, you know, Raditz is the kind of person who doesn't really care what people think, nor does Launch, really. She has parents who don't really care what other people think. So they're not really self-conscious. So she, Daikon, and Muli just basically like, I'm me. I don't care what people think of me. You know, I'm not here to try and be liked. So basically, I don't think she'd care. She'd own it. She'd be like, I'm not like the other girls, you know. I'm badass. I'm 6'1". I'm hench. I'm like, you know, proper like buff. I'm like, yeah. And then she'd be just thinking, I could break those girls in half with my thigh. Just like, she'd be like, she got this. Like, proper confidence. Ranch, as an adult, and even now, big ball of confidence. Absolutely. Okay. Let's see. What if Goku was a businessman and made millions of dollars? Well, basically, I think that would be a Chi-Chi would have to like say, if you're gonna be a martial artist, you gotta try and sell it and make a dojo. So I think Chi-Chi would insist on him making a dojo, and that's how he would make his money. So he would have a dojo, people would come and do it, because he was, after the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournaments, he'd be the champion, he'd have someone coming in as his manager, and you'd have that. You know, the champion of the World Martial Arts Tournament can make you a champion. That would be the most logical way to do it. Okay, Rob Marr, what if Goku and Raditz were sent together? Please answer. Yeah, Rob Marr, if they were sent together, Raditz would definitely be the leader. You'd have that Shimon Kamina thing from Gurren Lagann, that Raditz would be the one that Goku looks up to. So they have that inspiration. It's like, don't worry, Kakarot! Believe in the me that believes in the you! Like, he would, and also would be really and be really shrewd to like, yeah, we're on this different planet. Frieza doesn't know we're here. Let's just stay here and try and survive. So, I think definitely using that advantage. Gobi, what if Cell Juniors became sidekicks to Great Saiyaman? Oh, dude, it'd be like those aliens from Men in Black. Like, Gohan would just like, the Cell Juniors would be coming in and just like, as the goofy mascots. Like Bruni the Fire Spirit from Frozen 2. Like, it's just these random cameos that you can send. Like, you know, it's like, Peter, don't turn the Cell Juniors into marketable plushies. There you go. They'd be the mascots that you would sell. But I think they could be useful. Alright, go, Papa Poto. On another note, I had an idea for 2 more sounds you can add. Trunks says, you need to be stopped! And Krillin's, not today! What do you think? I think you need to be stopped could be really good. I do have a soundboard, and there are a couple of spaces. But in terms of sounds, I've actually got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll play through them. That's 1. I've got that one. I've got the sound, which you know. And my personal favorite. Oh, sorry, I forgot to turn on the sound. Oops. So.
But Masako, unsubscribe.
And that.
I'm sorry, that's a new one.
And this. And my bad. And this is my favorite. Yeah, sorry about that. I turned off my desktop sound because Haverock and Sophie aren't here, so basically, my bad. That was my B. That was definitely on me. Oops. So, yeah, no, absolutely. I could do with a couple more. So, we'll say that. Jamie Frost, what if Goku studied magic instead of martial arts? Well, yeah, no, it's really low because the sound's definitely a bit off. Sorry about that. But if he studied magic, then he would definitely beat Superman. I'm still not salty about that after nearly a decade. I'm just saying. But it's certainly, you could do with a lot more magic in Dragon Ball. I'd certainly like that thing. So, yeah. I would say that it would certainly be a bit more interesting. Yeah. Dark Snake X5. What if Goku and Raditz were twins and they both got sent to Earth? If they were twins, I would imagine probably they would pretty much have a similar personality. But it depends if they all both bump their heads at the same time, which is totally possible. I would just say they probably would just... I think Raditz would just have that more confident streak. Like, a bit more, like, goofy. Like, just, like, more carefree, I would say. Maybe like that. Gingerbeard31, how would you change Jiren's backstory? Oh, make it longer, for a start. You'd have a whole episode dedicated to Jiren, at least. You wouldn't make it a Batman origin. Like, yeah, sure, you can have, oh, his family were murdered by an evil demon that might have actually turned out to be Belmod. Basically trying to get him into becoming a Pride Trooper, having that kind of stuff, because Belmod would do that kind of thing. And you just have him having just this whole idea of like, oh, I'm here for absolute strength because that is the only way to try and defeat my demons. That's that kind of stuff. So, absolutely, just make it longer and less hackneyed and contrived. Gobi, what if Goku grew up at the Orin Temple with Krillin, and what if the two of them being the Temple Misfits? Well, if the both of them were at the same time, I feel like they would actually find each other and have solace. So Krillin would probably just stick it out because you go like, well, at least I'll have one friend. And, you know, he's the strongest guy here. So I could actually learn a thing or two. So they could probably survive together and ultimately stop being bullied. I think that'd be a nice little story to see. Craig Twitchell, what if Jiro was a magical scientist and his goal was to better humanity through magical technology? Be a good way to supplement magic through the series. Well, it's pretty much what he would do already, in the sense of like he wanted to have a technological utopia. There would just be magic attached to it as well. So you just get the same as what he wanted to do originally, but through less nefarious methods. But you just have magic and technology. But I personally think that Jiro would never resort to magic unless it's to basically make more materials. So almost make an abundance of materials to make all that kind of stuff. And Raihan, welcome to your first stream. This is the What If Roundtable, and basically this helps get some really good ideas out there and gets people thinking. And it's just a case of just like, it also helps support the channel. So if you want to put out What If, do leave a super chat if you can. If you can't, then just sit back and take some ideas in. Absolutely. Okay, Gobi, what if patricide had been a normal right in old Saiyan culture? And what if filicide more often occurred due to strength difference? The murder of one's own child or children. You wanted me to define filicide? That was certainly very, very... certainly something very unusual when I recorded that for DBZA. But if that were a tradition, then basically you'd have Raditz ending Bardock. But maybe not before he actually gets a chance to. So it's kind of intriguing in that way. But if there were, I don't know. I feel like you'd have that whole thing of like King Vegeta and then Vegeta actually doing it. It depends on what type of age it was. But it would certainly be much more traditional or a little bit more like kind of like clanny in that way. Steve Dance, what if future Trunks spared King Cold? Would there be a chance for Cold to become good? Would the Emperor be harmed by such an event? I think it would actually. Because he saw his son die. He basically was overwhelmed by this guy who came out of nowhere and is basically outclassing him immensely. And his son was in his final form. He has absolutely no chance. So basically, I can imagine that King Cold would be living in constant fear. It would certainly it wouldn't destroy the Empire immediately, but it would be the beginning of the end. They would overthrow King Cold eventually. Because he'd go mad. Craig Twitchell, what if Goku Black had Scottish or German accent? You know what I'd say? You basically just get Helsing. You get Helsing Ultimate Abridged. It's because Vegeta arose by any other name is still Goku. Yeah, basically you need something a bit more like subtle. Manifesto. What if Cauliflower and Kale treated Kaba better? Like, you know, not like trash, and maybe said thank you for all of his help for them? He needs that, right? Well, they don't necessarily treat him like trash. Kale is more jealous. And I feel like Cauliflower just doesn't like the fact that Kaba is a goody-goody. But I feel like after all that's been said and done, I feel like going forward after the Tournament of Power, they actually would be good friends. But I feel like Kaba probably would actually be a bit more confident in himself if he did. So that's the thing. It started off like that, but I feel like the three of them now are actually really good friends. Okay. Gobi? Goku does what Goku does what Nintendoku. Oh, because of the classic image of Goku and Vegeta playing Super Nintendo. That's a good image, I remember that. Dark Snake X5, what if DBZ was like Bleach? Well, for starters, Goku would have orange hair and be a delinquent, and Chi-Chi would never marry him because he's a delinquent. And there'd be a lot more swords, and you'd have the Soul Society, and basically King Kai would be the head of it. So that's that in a nutshell, really. I need to watch more Bleach. But basically, it would sort of be like that. Gobi? What if Goku was deaf but had enhanced anesthesia powers? Oh, not only would he be able to sense energy, but he would also be able to sense mood, he'd be able to sense interpretations, and actually be able to get under people's skin much more effectively. So I think that could be really interesting, and having a main character who has sign language, really, really inclusive as well. But also, and if people were complaining, so, oh, I don't want someone who's deaf as the main character. He could punch people really hard and be an effective fighter. That more than makes up for it. The ability to adapt is one of the Saiyan keys. Absolutely. So certainly like that. Craig Twitchell, what if the Ginyu Force was the Power Rangers of the galaxy? Well, they basically are. You see, that's another sound you could have. Toku Sentai, Toku Sentai. And by the way, guys, we are going to have the What If the Ginyu Force Turned Good coming out next month, part 2. So we are getting that, so you know. Ruben Mendez, what if Broly was raised by Roshi? Well, that'd be certainly one way to temper the boy. But I feel like if things went really, really bad... Oh, I'm going to play this sound. It would certainly be a bit weird. But I think it would actually temper Broly. So certainly like that. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Kane, Calcerane, Ranch Body Pillow when? Never. Because she's my daughter, effectively. She's my OC daughter. No. I'm actually going to probably do an Up on the Lookout podcast with, like, I'm trying to get Stacy, who voices Chi-Chi in R&R. Sophie will get her on. And then Fun Sexy DB, maybe. Having, like, a panel with Haverock and I, where the majority of the panel are women, talking about women and, you know, OC characters. I think that could be really good. Just having, like, a three women, 2 men, like, having that different kind of, like, spectrum. I think that could be fun. But honestly, I don't want to over-sexualize really Ranch at all. I don't. I want it to be like you get in Evangelion in the 90s. Like, 90s fan service was so much more discreet. It'd be like blink and you miss it, and you go, what? The power of imagination, my friends. Very, very potent. People have forgotten about that. Back in my day, you had to blink for 2 frames to get a panty shot. You had to be very, very, very observant. So, absolutely. Okay. Heartless Fang. What if Cold came to Earth in his final form rather than in his second? I feel like Trunks would still beat him because Mecha Frieza was stronger than final form Frieza. So I feel like even then, it would still be very difficult. Yeah. And Gobi, I've had loads of sponsorships for Dakimakuras of my characters, and I'm like, no, I don't respond to them because I'm like, am I trying to get demonetized? I'm sorry. I'm not Nuxtaku. I'm not basically Nuxtaku, who can basically get away with anything because he's a suave and very sophisticated memer of Shmentai. He's able to pull off all the memes. But I cannot because I am much more wholesome. And there you go, guys. That's my Nuxtaku impression. That was a lot of fun to record for that video. But yeah, Heartless Fang, I feel like not really much would change. Trunks would probably still win. Manifesto. Again, what if Caulifla eventually saw Carver as a great leader for Universe 6, or at the very least, for their 3-person team and gain more respect? That's what's totally happened. I totally believe that's happened already, because, you know, Carver has come out of his shell, he can go Super Saiyan 2 as well, so he's just as strong as Caulifla. And I feel like the two training together would definitely be a much more cohesive unit. And Kale, they're all roughly the same in terms of power, so they're much more of a good team. And it actually brings up and redeems Caulifla from not being part of a biker gang. So it's all coming up, coming up with them. I'm really happy. I'm really excited to see where that goes. Dark Snake, hey Masako, have you talked to Death Battle about Superman vs. Goku Part 3? I haven't per se, because that would actually be a bit pretentious of me, and also a bit assuming. I'm like, I don't know what Rooster Teeth want to do, but I feel like I'm okay if they don't do it. But if they did approach me and do round 3, I would certainly say yes. But I would understand that really they have the clout to ask Sean Schemmel to do it. So if they got Sean Schemmel to do it, I'd understand. I'd accept it. I'd respect the decision. But I'm like, I don't think there's really much more you can do, except with Ultra Instinct. But I don't know. Let's just say I'd be down for it if they asked. Papa Podo, Kuriza, looking at Vegeta with a cute sad face. Goku, well, come on, Vegeta, you know what day it is. Be nice. Vegeta, Happy Frieza Day. Yes, it's always very good to be helping Happy Father Day. This is my Father's Day. I can't be mad at you. Craig Twitchell, thinking about it, wouldn't the worst thing you could do to Gine be ironically to wish her back to her youthful prime? Oh. That actually would be really, really nettling for her. Because basically, if she were, she'd have that whole temptation to be strong again. And it would just be this vicious cycle that could never end. So really, her growing old and dying naturally of her own terms is actually the thing she needs in this timeline. So if you wish her young again, that would be the worst thing you could do. So, Craig, that's a good idea. I'm not going to do it because Gine deserves to have a very peaceful ending. But I like the way you think. Darksnake, what is Ranch's sign? Because I'm a Virgo. Well, okay, July the 10th star sign. Cancer. So, Ranch is Cancer. I mean, not Cancer, but Cancer the star sign. I myself am a Libra. Alejandro Gonzalez, what if during Wheeler's attempt to take over Goku, somehow Goku had ended up receiving the intelligence and knowledge of Wheelo? Well, if he did, he would certainly wish to go out and, like, not be a brain in the jar for a start. And I feel like he would necessarily gain the intelligence and the information that Wheelo has, so being a nefarious scientist. So I feel like he probably would actually talk to Bulma more and, like, provide some good intel. Absolutely, I think. But it would just mean that Goku has more of a spectrum of intelligence than he did before. So it'd be basically that. Gobi, what if future Gohan was sent to the GT timeline after his defeat by the androids? Well, it happened to Bardock, so if it happened to future Gohan, I would imagine if he was sent there, he probably would end up, like, learning from Piccolo more, probably getting a chance to train, and then finding some way back to the past, like, through some way, maybe using the Dragon Balls to wish him back, because I think that could be reasonably possible. Rhydron, what if all the name Saiyans were the opposite gender? Again, not really much things would change, to be honest, because, again, good character personality, they just so happen to be a different gender. But you get Vegeta probably getting together with Krillin or Tenshinhan because, you know, strongest fighter with good values, that kind of stuff. So I think that could be reasonable and plausible. Yes, next one. Manifesto. What if Cell had 3 new forms? One based on red cells, one on white cells, and one on carbon cells, each with its own unique abilities, function, and color. Well, with red cells, you'd have to probably have some way of being able to, like, breathe better. Like, I don't know. Probably more vicious in terms of power. One with white cells, basically having the power of super regeneration, like basically being essentially immortal, because being able to heal quickly. And carbon cells, probably have the ability to basically catch yourself on fire, in that sense. Or, if you get too close, you can't breathe, because you're basically carbon. Carbon dioxide. You can emit carbon dioxide. So if anyone tries to punch you close quarters with melee combat, they can't get to you, because they cannot breathe. Okay. Craig Twitchell. What if Bardock was wished back to life in the Gine What If after she gets old? What kind of conversation would she have? What they would have, probably like a retrospect, her showing how powerful she'd become, him being proud of her, in that sense. But it wouldn't be like a romantic, lovey-dovey type of sort of ending, because that's not the kind of relationship they had. But I think he would be proud of her in what she was able to accomplish. Like, turns out you're pretty strong after all. I knew it. You just had to prove yourself. That kind of thing. Heartless Fang. What if Pan and Bulla were born as Super Saiyan God because of their exposure to God Ki? Well, it would definitely confirm the fact that Pan was the legendary Super Saiyan. But probably, if they were, they'd probably just be a bit more, like, sensitive to God Ki. So they could probably learn Ultra Instinct much sooner than Goku did. Ruben Mendez. What if Dragon Ball Super Broly was raised by Roshi? Well, he would certainly be a much more wholesome boy, but I think at the same time, he'd probably be this kind of person who was really embarrassed by Roshi. And I think once Goku and Krillin showed up, with Krillin being a bit of a lech himself, probably a sense of perspective, and I feel like the innocent Goku would actually really kind of, like, make him realize that, oh my god, my adoptive father's a bit of a perv. Like, why is that? There would definitely be that conversation, I would say. Manifesto? For example, Blanc Cell, aka White Cell, enhanced power replication, Scarlet Cell is greater attack power, and Platinum Cell is greater defense and speed. Oh, cool, so it's basically Kanto Press Through with the different suits. God, I love Catapesla. But Manifesto, those are good interpretations. I like those. Okay, Devon. In What If Gine, when Raditz comes to Earth, he stays instead of leaving. So if he stayed, then basically I'd imagine he'd probably just have Earth as a base, and Launch and himself will be just friends with benefits. Because everyone wants me to have like Ranch in the What If of Gine. I did table that idea, but I got a bit of blowback because it was basically a bit of forced. So it would certainly be like that. So they would be friends with benefits, or like clock buddies. Let's just say that in short. Craig Twitchell, how would you write me as a DB villain or hero? Well, you would have baggy pants, you would have a clown robot sidekick, and you would definitely have a sublab in the middle of a mountain cave. Let's just say that. Basically, Dr. Giro. Brendan Little, just want to say that Ranch growing up to be as swole as an 80s action hero is still perfect. Raditz and Branch for Broforce. Like, right? I mean, come on. Like, Dragon Ball is basically pure 80s and 90s nostalgia. You got to embrace that. You got to embrace that, definitely. Dark Cloud Alpha, what if the Tuffles won the war with the Saiyans? Well, they would definitely go back to the drawing board with the Saiyans and make sure that they weren't as aggressive. They would definitely, I would say, try and like find a way to subjugate them even more. Like mind control, probably. Like those collars that Broly had. Certainly something like that. Manifesto, what if Good Boy Frost got a form like Diamond Frost? Oh, that would be cool. Diamond Frost would be really, really cool. Like, not Golden Frost, not Silver Frost, Diamond Frost. That's nice. And it's like, and the beginning of that what if is like, well, Frieza, I have definitely got something to prove you. I shine bright like a diamond. That's the what if. That's the what if. That's the intro joke. Don't at me. There you go. Craig Twitchell. What if Dr. Brief was secretly in league with Dr. Shuro? Well, if they were, then basically it would probably be one of those things like a sort of détente thing or a necessary evil. Like basically, Jiro had some kind of thing that could destroy the planet if Dr. Brief didn't supply him with technology and resources. So it'd be like an unnecessary, like a really reluctant cooperation, that kind of thing. Like, Dr. Brief didn't want to, but he had no choice, because otherwise the planet would have been destroyed, because, you know, one of those explosive bombs from the androids could easily blow the planet up. So, you know, a necessary evil. Brendan Little. Backyard camping's got to be the best. Least locking myself out of my house nest decision I've ever made. Exactly. It's not locking myself out, it's backyard camping. There you go. Red Dragon Force 2, on behalf of 717 Jr. What if sensu beans were grape flavored? Followed by Goku going... and Vegeta going...
excellent.
There you go, there's your answer. Gorilla Geek, thank you for your contribution. And what if Raditz came to get Goku when he was a kid? If he did that, I think he probably would be very powerful, and I feel like Goku would just go with him because he's completely naive, and nobody else would have the power to even go up against Raditz. So I think Goku would just be taken. Goku would be taken, essentially. So yeah, you just have Goku in space! Gobi. What if Black eventually grew belligerent with Zamasu and betrayed him for his own agenda? No, I don't mean if he became good. It could potentially happen, basically, if, like, the whole thing with Trunks got so much more stretched, basically. So if it became, like, really, really too long, and then Goku Black found a way to be able to kind of, like, take advantage of the situation. Like, maybe he destroys his Patara, or makes it unusable. So definitely something like that. Oh, and Yash, sorry about the super chats, but don't worry, we're still going to go for a little bit, so... I hope you can find a way to work it. Maybe like refresh the page or something. But yeah, no, definitely. I think it'd be some way that he would definitely get group patient and then basically screw around with Zamasu in some way. But he can't be killed because he's needed for the plan. Craig Twitchell. What if Futuranch went to the past but went to the wrong one and got trapped there? Well, then basically you get the whole what if Trunks never met Kid Bulma? So basically you went to the past and she met her uncle. and basically was this kind of like almost like figure, like this elder person, or this younger, like introduces like, oh, I'm a long lost sister or something like that. There you go. The whole Goku, what if Goku had a sister? Ranch would just frame herself as, Goku's little sister. Yeah, sure, absolutely. Papa Podo, what if Ranch was Frieza's favorite Saiyan? Well, basically, it would be some way of, like, Raditz proving to us, well, I told you, Frieza, we were actually made from really good stuff. So basically, like, you'd have this image of, like, Brick Ranch, Brick Adult Ranch in Super Saiyan 4, basically pounding Frieza, and Frieza basically getting a boner. Like, uh-oh, boner alert. You'd have this kind of stuff. But that image of, like, Swole Monkey Ranch pounding Frieza into the dirt, like, it's both hot and terrifying. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Gobi, what if Gohan developed dermatophagia? Now, what does that mean? Of gnawing, biting one's own skin. If it was, then I would definitely say something a bit more, it would be a bit awkward in some way. But in some way, it would mean that in terms of stress, he would definitely be a bit more scarred. You'd have a more scarred Gohan, and basically someone that would be a bit more prone to stress. So maybe those rage boosts would be a bit more effective. So maybe like that. Chancellor, what if Bardock was single, gets injured trying to warn Saiyans of Frieza, finds a pod, puts in random coordinates, ending up on Earth and saved by Gohan? I feel like he would stay there and raise himself back up to health in some way, but then I think eventually he would bounce, because Bardock is a bit of a nomad, and if he had the chance to escape Frieza's influence, he would definitely find some way to get stronger and then go back to round 2. So he wouldn't stick around, but he'd probably be in some way grateful for Gohan. Paparacha saying, what if David Tennant was cast as Moro? I'd be down for that. Having David Tennant in Dragon Ball would be absolutely fantastic, but I don't know whether Funimation can afford him. That's all I'm saying. Owen McPherson, what if Gohan has the personality of Jotaro Kujo? You basically have Carl A. Bear going, good grief. This conference is going absolutely bad. Like, and instead of order, it's orate. Orate. Yeah, just like oration. The ultimate oration. There you go. Craig Twitchell, what if you wrote your own Ranch series with an alt Dragon Ball title? Basically, if it was all about Ranch, I don't know really. But the thing is that I don't want to write the story purely on Ranch. I want Ranch in the story and to figure in it, but I want to really focus on the other characters. Like, Ranch is part of that universe. So to make it just purely about Ranch would be really too fanficky for my opinion. So yeah. Timeline. I don't know. If I were doing that, then I would do the whole thing that Gine was like her grandmother in that sense. That's the most logical one, but again, it'd be too contrived. So I'm really happy with the one that we got. Johnny Finney. Frieza versus Fuse Zamasu. Who comes out on top? Who comes out on top? It would probably be True Golden Frieza, probably, because he'd have the tenacity. He's gotten over the stamina bump, that stamina issue, and I feel like with God Key, he would basically be like taunting, and absolutely taunting and wrecking the whole thing. Yeah, with Zamasu, definitely. Dark Cloud Alpha, what if Cell went too far back in time, absorbed Grandpa Gohan by mistake, and had to try and raise Kid Goku to preserve the timeline? Grandpa Cell. Well, nobody at that time would know who he was, and basically he would just like say, he'd have to come up with some way that Grandpa Gohan was a bad guy, and was basically, he was there as a ploy to try and kill you, but not I. I'm not going to drink you. What? Why are you saying to... no, I'm going to, hug you. Yes, that's it. So, it would certainly be a ruse having a bug daddy. Ruben Mendez, I'm going to keep asking this question until I go broke. What if Broly was raised by Roshi? Well, we did do your answer, but you basically had that moment when Goku arrives, when Broly becomes a revelation that Roshi is a bit of a lech. But I feel like he would be definitely a good, loyal son in that way. Gobi, what if, like some real-life monkeys, Lavender was repulsive to Saiyans? I would say pretty much you'd have that situation where he'd be very weak against them. Like, have some kind of, like, caveat to them. Well, I think it could definitely be something like that. And I think Gohan would try and reason with him, but then it wouldn't really work. So I feel like Gohan would then ultimately be more, like, emblazoned to work out with him. Like, grosses them out. I think just Gohan would try and beat through it and actually use it to his advantage. Okay. Craig, how many sounds do I have? I went through them earlier, but currently I have 6. 6 of them, currently. Devin, what if all the Saiyans were like Broly, berserkers? Oh, I'm playing the sound. That sound for the entire universe. Like, basically, you'd have that moment when that first legendary Super Saiyan arrived, where the entire universe was completely in ruins. Okay. Right. Doobie-doobie-doo. Let's see. Next one is Craig Twitcher. What if Durin and Bulma were forced to work together to save the world for an arch, against an arch nemesis? Well, I suppose ultimately you would have this, situation where they would have that understand each other's strengths and weaknesses. So maybe in a way, Jiro would probably be like, oh, I don't know, just probably a bit more understanding. Maybe his grudge would be slightly reduced, but it remains to be seen. It definitely remains to be seen. And Red Dragon is absolutely correct. I'm going to say now the Super Chat is now closed because we've been going for an hour. I completely lost track there. So yeah, Super Chats are now closed. Thank you very much for your contribution. Any contributions you do right now, we'll see if we can get to them. But it is also basically to help support the channel in some way. So, just so you know. Okay. Like, don't. Sorry about that. Just got some sudden pings from various things. Okay. Alright. Okay. Black Jack Giga. What if Caulifla and Kale were from Universe 7 and Goku and Vegeta from Universe 6? Well, Caulifla and Kale would definitely, Oh, sorry about that, Yash. If you want to do a what if you can, we are relatively close to the end. So if you want to do one, you can contribute. You can do them. But again, we're just, we're starting to wind it down, so you know, Yash. Okay. But if Kale and Caulifla, they would certainly be more aggressive. Kale would basically be Broly, and Goku and Vegeta would be a bit skinnier, but they would certainly be a bit more benevolent. Like, Vegeta would be a very much benevolent prince, and Goku would just basically be himself. A great Twitch. I'm the Jiro guy. Who are the other mains? I don't really know what you mean by that, Craig. But you are the Jiro guy. You're definitely the Jiro guy. You certainly made yourself memorable. In a good way. Okay. Gobi? What if Goku called Super Saiyan Rose Super Saiyan Strawberry, Bubblegum, or Cotton Candy? I would certainly say that it would certainly be a bit more nuanced, and Bulma would certainly be going, did somebody say strawberries? Because, you know, she still likes strawberries. She did want to wish for a lifetime supply of them. But it would that would certainly be a dubism. Because basically, if nowadays they were doing it like so like dated and cheesy as the dub back in the day, you would definitely say, what kind of power is that? Super Saiyan Strawberry? You would certainly have that. Craig Twitchell, what if Cyberman joined the Z team and never blew up? Well, he would certainly be one of those really kind of like sudden surprises. Like, definitely a sudden twist. I would definitely say probably used as a surprise attack. Like, you know, they basically sick a Cyberman on them and find some way to be able to kind of like train them up so they can explode but not die. But it would certainly be a bit of a surprise attack, like a solar flare almost. Red Dragon Force 2, what if a wish was made for Goku to breathe in space? Yay, I can breathe in a vacuum! It would certainly be very, very useful. Like, Frieza aims to blow the planet up. He blows the planet up. Goku's still there. It would certainly throw Frieza for a loop. It would get a couple of giggles. Let's just say that. Paparazzi, will you add a Haverock and or Sophie sound? What about add it to the list? We could definitely do that, just in case they're not there. Just in case they're not on a stream again, we can have them in spirit. So I'll look into that. Craig Twitchell, what if Goku was the Dragon Warrior? Ooh, the Dragon Warrior. Now, well, he sort of is a Dragon Warrior in a way, but from Dragon Quest. Well, he'd certainly be a lot more mute. He would certainly have more ability with a sword, and he'd have his own line of RPGs. Yeah, that aren't card-based mostly. But yeah, Gobi, the Universe 6 Saiyan thing, I mean, not all of them are noodly, because there's Renso, Caulifla's brother, who's quite bulky. I don't know, maybe it's just like, they're more of different body types, perhaps. Because there is Beats from Universe 7 who's quite noodly. So, I think it depends. Paparazzi, what if future Jiro's head survived, was horrified how 1718 wrecked humanity, and turned the only mostly dead Z-Fighters into cyborgs to stop them? Probably that would actually be a really interesting situation, like the remorse of the mad scientist. That could definitely be intriguing. Definitely having that, like, Jiro's head helps, like, as a sidekick to Bulma. And, like, you really messed up here. You need to help us big time. And, like, that could be a really nice redemption arc in some way. Having to, like, fend off his own creations. Let's see. Next one is Gobi. What if Dumpling showed up in the main series from the TFS playthrough of Xenoverse? Well, basically, he'd have the Danny DeVito accent, and he basically would destroy everything, because Dumpling is meant to be basically the child of Popo. So, of Popo and Majin Buu. So, you basically would destroy everything. So I basically play the sound for everyone else who's getting Falcon, in Nappa's What If? What if Nappa had a son that showed up after Namek to find his father after hearing about Frieza? Plus he got training from Yardrat and helped to defeat Frieza. He married Suno. Nappa's son's name? Probably... I don't know, actually. Probably a different type of cabbage. Probably. What's types of cabbages? Let's have a look at this. Types of cabbage. Savoy. So you can have a variation of Savoy, like Voisa. Probably Voisa. A part of Savoy cabbage. But I would say it'd be certainly a bit of a twist, and like, and then say, "Hey, father, I'm here. Ah, son, I'm so proud of you, and you even went bald too. Well, like father, like son." Craig Twitchell, what if Jiro was willing to use magic for things other than materials? Character rewrite. Well, basically, if he were, then basically I would say he would certainly try and use it to try and like pump up technology and basically use it for self-perpetuation. So there's unlimited energy. Basically, it'd be an alternative to the Infinity Engine. Instead of Infinity Engine through technology and fuel, it's pure magic. So it'd be used for fuel. Paparazzi, Golden Frieza. Behold, my ultimate... Cooler did it! Excuse you. Cooler had a fifth form. And a metallic form. Curse it, curses! Ulysses 1865. What if Yang was a Saiyan and Goku noticed her power after she went Super Saiyan? Where in the Ruby timeline would her Super Saiyan form come in? Oh, I don't really know. I've only watched the first volume of Ruby. But honestly, I feel like Yang and Goku would hang out. I feel like they definitely seem like have a strong affinity with one another, I would say. I would definitely like to see Noodle Mage do a sketch of that. I feel like it could be really funny. Yeah, and what's to say that Yang isn't Super Saiyan already? Craig Twitchell, can you write a confrontation between Dr. Giro, Robotnik, and Wily? And Gobi, they'd eat at Ruby Tuesday. Absolutely. Nice. There's curiously one in Wales for some reason. It's interesting. We could definitely look into it for a lightning round in terms of Dr. Giro, Robotnik, and Wily. But it'd be basically, I'm Dr. Robotnik. I am a mad scientist who wants to get rid of that filthy hedgehog. And then, I hate Mega Man. He ruins everything. And it's just like, yes, it seems like we have a common goal of hating someone who gets in our way. I take it that you have an anthropomorphic issue and yours is a robotic boy. Why, yes, absolutely. I hate that hedgehog! It's like, well, I think we should join forces to create a giant robotic thing that will actually stop this menace. I already tried that. I got Scratch and Grounder here, and they are not absolutely horrible. Oh, come on, boss, I'm not that bad. Yeah, we're not exactly that bad. We provide comedy relief. No, there you go. Sorry, Saturday morning hedgehog. Yeah, sorry. All right, Paparacha. What if Kefla accidentally turns Super Saiyan 4 in the Tournament of Power? Well, it'd be a nice little bit of fan service, absolutely. It would certainly be something interesting, and it'd be interesting to see a Super Saiyan 4 that actually had some way that wasn't as, like, you know, yeah, but had, like, yeah, biddies, like, on display. Something a bit more tasteful, perhaps. Luis Suazo, what if Masako was Prime Minister of the UK? I would make it so that means anime was not to be shamed. It was part of the curriculum and part of things that you need to understand for the, you know, cultural relations with Japan. There you go. Anime would be subsidized by the British government. Red Dragon Force 2 on behalf of Savage 17 Jr. What if someone wished Roshi younger? I think he would actually be a bit more like he'd be annoyed by it. But at the same time, he's still immortal anyway. He would use his time to just basically pick up girls more. So there you go. Okay, Craig, what if Hit and Goldo fused temporarily or permanently? Well, their time skip would be absolutely unbeatable. And they would have like 8 eyes or something like that. And be extremely tall. And still be voiced by Matt Mercer. And still like donuts. So there you go. Okay, what if Goten had trichotillomania? Oh, hair pulling. Well, it would certainly make more sense in terms of, like, you know, not wanting the same hairstyle, but basically different haircuts. So, more haircuts and, you know, I knew somebody with trichotillomania, and it's, like, it's very, very debilitating. So I feel like it would actually just be another struggle for Goten to overcome, but I feel like he could do it. He's got confidence and stuff. And, yeah, Craig Twitchell, thank you very much for becoming a member, by the way. That's awesome, thank you. Craig Twitchell again, what if Yamcha had clairvoyance? Well, it would be basically the case of being reincarnated as Yamcha, which is a really good manga I really strongly recommend. But it would basically be that. He would then anticipate stuff. Alejandro Gonzalez, what if Misashi Kishimoto did Dragon Ball and Toriyama did Naruto? I think things would pretty much be relatively the same, only less angst in Naruto, more angst in Dragon Ball. Like, there'd be better romance in some way, and better drama in the sense of the traditional. But I feel like Naruto would end up being a bit more silly. Bit more subversive. Craig Twitchell, could the number what if be put in the Raditz what if? Well, we definitely want to put a crossover in the what if-ery eventually, but we need to actually finish some of the what ifs first, so we can actually establish a full canon, so it's not fully in progress. Lucas Bell, finally been a while since I could catch one of these due to work. I don't really have a what if, but I still wanted to give money. Oh, thanks, Lucas. That's much obliged, sir. Hope you're doing well. Okay, let's see. Red Dragon on behalf of Augustus. What if Raditz never came to Earth Part 2? I'm still working on it, but again, there are lots of these stories that I do. I'm actually 3 weeks ahead, but I'll try and see what I can do to come up with a Part 2. I'll try and see if I can do one for September. Craig Twitcher, what if Black made Gine black in the Gine what if? I feel like that could have been interesting in a way, but I feel like Goku Black is stronger. So in terms of that sense, Gine wouldn't put herself in the firing line like, you know, Goku did. So I feel like it would be much more sinister. Like, it'd be very, very creepy. It would certainly be I'd love to do that for the psychological warfare aspect. Definitely. But it would definitely, it would definitely make Goku more determined. He would be nowhere near as goofy in that arc. He would take this seriously. And Ulysses 1865? What if Yang was a Saiyan and was trained by Goku? Well, she'd be the most enthusiastic Saiyan around. He'd probably be one of those oddball Saiyans who's actually really nice to people. And I think she could probably out-eat Goku. So that would certainly make Goku admire her immensely. Gobi, what if Chi-Chi used young children's learning games and materials to educate Goku, like Leapfrog, Jumpstart, etc.? Oh, give him a VTech laptop. Like, you know, after training, he basically has to learn on one of those little laptops. So basically, what is the color of this? Boop, green. You selected purple. That's incorrect. Sorry. So, it's just like, it would certainly be struggling. Okay. Devon, what if Trunks meets young Bulma when going back to the future? He doesn't go far enough, the 23rd tournament, and ends up face to face with an angry Bulma. Part 3 idea? That could be really good, actually. And I feel like he'd actually have to be stuck in there for a bit longer, because he actually can't stay. He can't actually, like, get there too much. Okay, you know what? I'll do a part 3 on that. So, Devon, congratulations. I'm just gonna... I'll give you this.
Excellent.
There you go. So I'll keep in mind of that. Craig Twitchell, what if self-fused with Frieza? If self-fused with Frieza, there is Frieza. There is actually an artwork, and it is in the game Dragon Ball Fusions on the 3DS. So you definitely would get that. The Batosai, that's from the Big Green dub. Search Big Green Vegeta, and it's that. Owen McPherson, what if the Z Fighters gained stands? Oh, if they did, it would mean that they would fight and their stands would fight. So it would actually make it interesting. If the stands got the upper hand, it would affect the other fight. So one fight would affect the other fight. So you get 2 fights for 1. 2 for the price of 1. I'd be down for that. And Paparazzi says, what if only Yamcha got a stand? And he says, I call upon my stand. Cat loves food. And then it'd basically be just like, it'd be like, cat loves food. So instead of ora or like muda muda, it'd be, yeah, 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 yeah. Because cat loves food. Yeah, 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 yeah. And Jesse Gold, what if we had a prequel series for Dragon Ball? I keep hearing about the cookie conflict and how relatively strong humans were on Earth before DB. I would say, and you know what? I'll just serve a Bucciarati say, Arrivederci. Because that's always awesome to say. Cookie conflict. I don't know about that. I don't remember that actually. But, yeah, the humans were pretty strong. And, you know, Tal Pai Pai, really strong. Like, prior to age 750. And Ox King with the power of 900. Like, basically, Ox King was the strongest person on the planet. You know, dude, this Ox King kind of guy, I have a power level of 900. You know, powerful for, like 20 years. It's crazy. Create yourself pop Kung Fu Panda. Also, if, like, different, like, timelines, Dr. Gero was in Kung Fu Panda. Well, it would certainly be an interesting thing, you know, using technology against Poe. That would certainly be curious. Yash says, it's all cool, but the main point is to support by donations. But onto the secondary motive. What do you say about reinventing GT with Super's continuation? Well, that's kind of sort of what we're doing in the What If GT Raditz timeline. Like, using elements of Super with Beerus and Whis. So if you want to get a good idea about that, check out that What If GT Raditz timeline. That'll give you a good idea. Oh, and you meant the Dragon Warrior from Kung Fu Panda. Oh, sorry about that. Dragon Warrior from Kung Fu Panda. So basically, that would be Poe. So it'd be like, so fighting Goku versus Poe. It would certainly be more agile, but I feel like at the end of the day, they would find out they both like dumplings, and they would just end up going to the, you know, Poe's father's restaurant and eat it out. Eat it out. Eat it out till the end of the world. Look around and you know that you're not eating by yourself. Eat it out till the creams of the world. Oh, creams of the crop, there you go. Let's gather the flavors of our friends. Never gonna eat it up. Heat it up and do our best to slave our favorite dish. And I say, go, yummy, yummy, yum. There you go. Manifesto. For giggles, did you ever see Kale as a yandere type? I think I did when I saw Kale saw Khalifa. Oh, she's definitely a yandere. She's definitely a yandere. No, I would agree, Manifesto. She definitely was. Manifesto. Oh, you meant carbon as in dense or a hard cell. Oh, okay. So basically, he basically becomes tougher. Like, basically Kachin in that way. So if you try and punch him, no matter what, yeah, I think I could definitely work it out. So I get that. And Jesse, you mean Cookie conflicts in Devil Artemis's universe? Well, I'm afraid I'm not really au fait with that universe, I'm afraid. So, if I'm honest, I don't really quite understand. But, sorry about that. But either way, that is all we've got time for today. Thank you all so much for your contributions. It really does help support the channel. And there have been some really good ones. And now with the Trunks Never Met Kid Bulma, that's like a really good idea. So Devin, thank you so much for that contribution in particular. This goes to show that you guys can really provide some good contributions and good understandings here. So either way, guys, I hope you're all doing well and hope you have a good weekend. And I hope that you look forward to What If Frieza Turned Good Part 8, because I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to writing Part 9. So that's why I'm saying that. So until next time, guys, I hope you're all doing well and you just take care. And have a good weekend. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care.